late last night, Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers filed an objection to block the release of another deposition. So,
Ooh.
that deposition that we got a couple months ago was a little bit on the disappointing side. I think we were all so hungry for something. We were like,
It was a boner assassin.
it was a little, yeah, it wasn't what we were, that yes moment we were looking for. But here's a chance to get some more of that. So they're trying to block this new release. The objection was filed as part of a broader objection to the proposed timeline for unsealing additional documents in the case, as required in a July ruling by the judge who's overseeing all this, Judge Loretta Preska. And the Miami Herald has obtained some of these documents. The Thursday filing seeks to block the release of a July 2016 deposition given by Maxwell in a civil suit involving Virginia Roberts Jeffrey. Preska last month released a long transcript of Maxwell's deposition from April of that year. So
that was boring.
She sat for the boring deposition in April. I mean, there was a couple little tidbits in there, but it wasn't, again, what we were looking for. She refused to answer questions in that deposition. She was found to have 3 passports on her. She was deemed to be obstructive, which I totally get. Her refusal to answer the questions, which stems from allegations from Epstein's victims, obviously led the judge at that time to order Maxwell to sit in July for what would be this deposition. So, okay, why this deposition now? They think it's going to come in the next 2 weeks, by the way. So that's good. Maxwell's lawyers obviously fighting and saying it's not fair to Maxwell. Let's see here. They're saying, quote, "There can be no doubt that matters concerning Miss Maxwell's case have been excessively and extensively reported. The press, the government, the plaintiff have made every effort to make Miss Maxwell a proxy for the now deceased Mr. Epstein." The filing said Thursday by Laura Menninger. "The prejudice caused by the flood of coverage that comes with every new unsealing event in this case cannot be overstated." Okay. Basically, she's talking about us. I mean, not us specifically, but people
she's talking about us.
People like us that are just like waiting for this information. And you know what's crazy? I actually had a lawyer reach out to me who is a fan of the podcast, and she was like, she had this same sentiment. Like, everybody's rushing to judgment on Ghislaine, and it's innocent until proven guilty, and she wants to come on. I don't know if we should have her.
Oh, yeah. We should have her on.
I feel like people are going to eat her alive, but
listen, it's the price you pay.
Yeah.
Because I know how that feels.
Janine's like, I go through it. Screw this one.
Every single week. So, come on.
All right, maybe we'll have her on. She was very nice. I'll tell you what. She was very. I saved her email. I didn't.
That's funny. You didn't tell me that. That's cool.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Bring her on.
You say bring her on?
I say bring her on.
All right, I'll reach out to her then. Let's see here. Those same arguments were made the last time. That was basically Ghislaine's arguments last time, and she was unsuccessful. Maxwell's lawyers asked Preska this time not to release depositions from 2 non-parties referenced only as Doe 1 and Doe 2. Lawyers for these 2 non-parties objected to their names being released, but did not raise any further objections before a November 4th deadline. So I talked about this last time, the process of putting these things out. You give people the chance to redact their name out of it, and then you give them a chance to say if they want to block it altogether. So Doe 1 and Doe 2, whoever that is, said, redact my name, and then when the deadline came and went for them to say, don't put this out, they didn't say anything.
Oh.
So that's why this has been given the green light to come out. That's basically what's happening. Now, I first thought maybe this was Dershowitz because he's like, let's put everything out. But I doubt it's him if they chose to redact the name but didn't choose to have it blocked out. So we'll see what happens with that. Maxwell's attorneys indicated in the Thursday filing that they plan to challenge how federal prosecutors came into possession of the deposition from the civil lawsuit in the first place. Maxwell's lawyers previously suggested without any evidence that Jeffrey's attorneys might have turned over the deposition in violation of a protective order in the civil suit. That was disputed by a federal prosecutor who indicated that they obtained the deposition after asking 2 courts for access, one of which complied. Listen to this. Maxwell has sued Epstein's estate, which is being settled in the U.S. Virgin Islands, claiming that Epstein promised to pay her legal bills and did so up until the day he died in August 2019. The estate holds that no such deal was ever made.
I mean, obviously.
I mean, what are they going to say?
But yeah.
I mean, I don't even think that that's a great look for Maxwell.
I know, it doesn't. I was just going to say, it doesn't look good for her to say that.
Why, yeah, why would you? I mean, but that kind of tells me that she maybe doesn't have the money that everybody thinks she might have.
Right.
Like he gave her.
Maybe he wasn't paying her that much,
We always talked about that. And then remember it came out in the last deposition that it was $100,000 and nobody could figure out if it was per year or a one-time fee. But even if you're talking about per year, $100K, don't judge me on saying this, but $100K is not a lot of money.
No, especially not in Long Island.
Not here, on Long Island, and not in New York, and not when you're maintaining this lifestyle that she was maintaining. You can't live off $100,000 and live in New York City. Like I
absolutely not. No,
it's impossible. I mean, you can, but you got to have like 14 roommates in a 1-bedroom loft, which young people do, but not, So, I found that little nugget to be super interesting because it's like she's obviously got all these lawyers. They've got to be paid. I'm sure she's got money, but I don't know if she has lived the rest of her life money.
I wonder
if she's
unless she gave it to someone else to hold for her.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe that's it. But again, like if I'm her lawyers and she's like, "Hey, I need to sue to get this money from Epstein," he told me, I'd be like, "Well, what else can we do?" Because
it doesn't look good now.
That's a huge bad look. A huge bad look. Menninger's filing on behalf of Maxwell also repeated earlier arguments that information could be kept under a seal because it could be relevant to Maxwell's criminal trial. The sealed items contained information relevant to the criminal action that may or may not be later determined as inadmissible in that trial, she said. So again, they're kind of just pulling out all their stops to keep this as quiet as they can, but it's coming out. So basically next 2 weeks, because now after their deadline's passed, it gets fired back to Jeffrey's lawyers and they get to review it for a week.
Okay.
But we can actually have this by next week. I mean, it's very possible we could have another Ghislaine document dump by next week.
Or in 5 months.
I mean, they're obviously going to fight it as hard as they can. We waited like crazy the last time. But and again, I don't want to fall into this trap or mislead anybody or clickbait anybody here, but one can't help but think if the April thing was unsatisfactory and the judge made her come back and answer more questions in July, that this one will have some more information to it.
We'll see.
I mean,
wouldn't that be a nice Thanksgiving treat? Read it over with your family members. Yes, there could be more than 10. At you, Cuomo.
That certainly would help you get off any political conversation that one may be subject to in their family's Thanksgiving gatherings.
It's true. Do you know what I like to do now?
What?
Every time Cuomo posts something on Instagram or a story, I like to reply to it and just tell him how much he's ruining New York.
Are you turning into one of these people that replies to tweets and things?
Well, it's not tweets, it's just Instagram stories, which might even be better. I'll send you some.